The night Samuel left his small town was heavy with rain and silence. The road stretched endlessly under the gray sky, glistening like a mirror of uncertainty. His wife, Emma, had just gone into labor. After months of anticipation, fear, and late-night whispers about the future, the moment had finally come. But Samuel wasn't driving to the hospital. Not yet. He was headed to a small shop on the outskirts of town, carrying an old wooden box his father had left him years ago, something he wanted to offer his newborn as a symbol of beginnings and promises kept. The box was nothing extraordinary at first glance. The wood was dark and worn, with delicate carvings of stars and rivers that his father had etched by hand during long winter nights. Inside it was a tiny silver rattle, passed down through 3 generations of men who had all become fathers under different skies. Samuel's father used to say, "Every child born into this world deserves to hear the sound of hope before they hear the noise of fear." As Samuel drove through the rain, he thought about that phrase and how much the world had changed since his father's time. Hope felt rarer now. The roads were busier, people more distracted, and kindness seemed to vanish faster than sunlight through storm clouds. Yet he was determined. His child would know a life built on love and presence. He parked near the hospital, heart racing, only to realize that in his hurry, he had left Emma's overnight bag at home. The irony made him laugh nervously. She would kill him for that. He turned around, telling himself he had time. First-time labors could take hours, maybe longer. He just needed to grab the bag, the photo album, and a small letter he had written for her, one he wanted her to read when their baby was born. When Samuel reached home, the house was strangely quiet, as if holding its breath. He walked in, dripping rain, and headed straight for the nursery. The soft yellow light spilling from under the door made his chest tighten. It was ready, the crib, the soft toys, the tiny clothes folded with care. He ran his fingers along the mobile above the crib, shaped like little clouds, and imagined a future of sleepless nights and small miracles. He grabbed the bag, checked the letter inside, and turned to leave when his phone buzzed. It was a message from his brother, Adam, who lived 2 towns away. "I'm at the hospital. She's strong. You better hurry." Samuel felt a rush of adrenaline. He locked the house, jumped back into the car, and drove through the rain again, faster this time. The streets blurred. Every drop of water on the windshield seemed to pulse with his heartbeat. When he arrived, nurses were moving quickly, their faces focused but calm. He spotted Adam by the vending machines, holding 2 coffees and wearing that uncertain smile that always preceded good or bad news. "She's okay," Adam said, handing him a cup. "But Sam..." Something happened. Samuel froze. "What do you mean?" Adam hesitated, his eyes flickering between pride and disbelief. "You should go in. You won't believe it." Samuel didn't wait another second. He rushed down the corridor, the smell of antiseptic and rain filling his senses. When he entered the room, time seemed to slow. Emma lay on the bed, exhausted but radiant. Her hair stuck to her forehead, her eyes bright with tears and laughter. In her arms, 2 small bundles wrapped in white. Samuel stopped in his tracks, trying to process what he saw. "Emma? 2?" She nodded weakly, smiling. 2. They didn't see the second one in the ultrasound. She was hiding behind her brother. For a moment, Samuel couldn't breathe. The world around him became distant. The machines, the murmuring nurses, the faint hum of rain against the window. All he could hear was the rhythm of 2 tiny heartbeats and the sound of his own breaking open in awe. He stepped closer, trembling. "A boy and a girl?" Emma's smile widened. "Yes, Noah and Grace." He touched their faces, impossibly small, impossibly real. "I left to celebrate 1 baby," he whispered, his voice cracking, "but came back to find 2. The nurses left them alone for a while, and the room filled with a peaceful stillness. The storm outside softened into a steady drizzle as if nature itself was blessing the moment. Samuel held both babies, feeling their warmth seep into his skin, into his soul. Hours passed like minutes. Family came and went, congratulations were whispered, and the world seemed to fade into that single room. But when night fell, and everyone else had gone home, Samuel found himself alone, watching his wife and the twins sleep. That's when the weight of everything hit him, not just the joy, but the responsibility, the unknown future. 2 children, 2 hearts to protect, 2 lives to shape. He thought of his father again, of the wooden box and the silver rattle. He took it from his coat pocket and placed it gently between the twins, the tiny rattle glinting in the dim light. "Here," he whispered. "This is for both of you. The sound of hope. Twice as strong." He didn't notice the nurse who had entered quietly to check on them. She smiled, watching him. "You're going to be a wonderful father," she said softly. "I hope so," Samuel replied. "They deserve the best of me." The days that followed blurred into one another. Sleepless nights, bottles, diapers, laughter, and exhaustion. Emma recovered slowly, supported by Samuel's quiet determination. He worked double shifts, but always came home in time to help with the midnight feeding. He'd rock Noah and Grace in his arms, whispering stories about stars, rivers, and the meaning of their names. Noah, calm and observant, always seemed to study his father with serious eyes. Grace, on the other hand, laughed easily, reaching for everything with fearless curiosity. It amazed Samuel how 2 souls born from the same moment could be so different, yet so perfectly complete together. As the months turned into years, life found its rhythm. Samuel often thought back to that night, how one simple detour had changed the story completely, how he had left believing he would become a father once and returned as a father twice. And yet, the real surprise came years later. When the twins turned 6, Samuel and Emma decided to open the wooden box with them. They gathered in the living room on a quiet Sunday afternoon, sunlight painting golden shapes on the floor. Samuel told them about their grandfather, about the meaning behind the carvings. Stars for dreams, rivers for life's journey. Grace leaned forward, fascinated. "Daddy, can I shake it?" He nodded, smiling. She lifted the silver rattle and shook it gently. The sound was soft and clear, like wind chimes in summer. But then something strange happened. A small folded paper fell out of the rattle's handle. Samuel blinked in surprise. "That wasn't there before." He unfolded it carefully. The paper was yellowed, the ink faded. It was a note, written by his father. "For my son, and for the children yet to come. Life will always surprise you. When you think you're ready for one blessing, it might give you 2. Remember, love grows in pairs." Samuel felt his throat tighten. He hadn't known the note existed. His father had died when he was still a teenager, before he could ever imagine what fatherhood meant. Yet here he was, holding his father's words in the presence of his own children, the cycle of love complete. Emma touched his arm. "He knew," she whispered. Samuel nodded, tears filling his eyes. He always did. From that day on, the rattle became more than a family heirloom. It became a reminder that life, in all its unpredictability, carries messages we only understand when the time is right. As the twins grew, Samuel watched them mirror and balance each other in ways that seemed almost mystical. When Noah fell, Grace helped him up. When Grace grew restless, Noah calmed her with quiet words. They were 2 halves of one heart, proof that life often multiplies its miracles when we least expect it. Years later, when the twins were adults and Samuel's hair had turned silver, they still told the story of that rainy night. It became a family legend, the night their father left to celebrate one baby, but returned to find 2. And every time they told it, someone would ask the same question. Did you ever wonder why it happened that way? Samuel always smiled before answering. Because love, he'd say, never comes in the amount you expect. It comes in the amount you're ready to receive, and sometimes twice over. As night settled once again over the quiet town, Samuel sat by the window, watching the rain fall much like it had years ago. He thought about the hospital, the nurses, Emma's laughter, the sound of two cries breaking the silence of the storm. He thought of the box, the note, and the circle of life that had carried him here. He closed his eyes and listened to the distant thunder, to the soft echo of that silver rattle that still hung above the mantel, and to the steady beat of gratitude in his heart. In that sound, he heard everything: the past, the present, the love that multiplied itself in the most unexpected way. He had once left to celebrate one life, but he returned to find two, and in them found his own.